When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your moves.
Blog Talk Radio. Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda D. Brown. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the Saturday edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Lynda D. Brown. My guest today is author DaPorscha Rufus. DaPorscha is stopping by the Author Chat Show to chat about her new book. It's called Your Book from God. It's actually a book to you from God. This is DaPorscha's first time on the Author Chat Show, and we'll be right back to chat with her about her book after a word from today's sponsor.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right, welcome back to the show. For those of you just tuning in, today's guest is author DaPorscha Rufus. DaPorscha is stopping by the show to chat with me about her book, Your Book from God. DaPorscha, welcome to the show.
Lynda, thanks so much for having me. This is an amazing opportunity and a blessing, and I'm just overjoyed to speak with you and your listeners today.
Well, we're honored to have you on the show to talk about your book. You have a very unique book, and we're going to get in to talk about that. But first, since This is your first time on the show, why don't we get started with you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So, hello, world. My name is DaPorscha Rufus. I'm a 26-year-old Nubian queen that reigns from Dallas, Texas. I started writing at a very young age, and it didn't dawn on me as a child that writing was one of my extraordinary gifts until I got older. Mm-hmm. And I am the author of the newly released book, Your Book from God. And I'm just, a girl on her journey trying to find out what life's all about. I'm just trying to find out my purpose for being and trying to figure out what God has placed inside of me so that I can serve him by serving his people through my gifts. Just a little.
But was there any?
About me.
Exactly. Okay. Well, DaPorscha, was there something that happened in your life that inspired you to write this book?
I would say pain and heartache, Lynda, are the two things that inspired me to write.
Hmm.
I started writing, like I said, at a young age, but when I went through trying times as an adult, I kept everything bottled inside. But it's like when I wrote, I was able to release all of my pain, all of my frustrations, and all of my fears, my hopelessness, and things of that nature, and I was able to express myself better by writing how I felt so that I could, be able to better help other people. And that's what really
Exactly.
drove me to write. Yeah, that my pain helped me find my purpose in life, and gave me that passion, to ignite and go after everything that was in front of me instead of, falling
Awesome.
back to the things that were behind. Mhm.
Okay. Awesome. That's very inspiring, especially for someone as young as you are, and I think that's great that you're already on your own journey because you know, and I tell this to people all the time, especially those that are Christian authors that have been on the show. We really
Mhm.
don't know who we are or what our purpose is until we really get into that word. That word
Yes, ma'am.
reveals it all. Absolutely. So I'm
Yes,
glad to
ma'am.
know that you were able to find exactly what it is God had called you to do. Now, your book is basically a devotional, sort of like.
Yes.
Did you start this by kind of journaling your way through it, and then realizing that you had a book and just went on and turned it into a manuscript? How did that journey go?
Oh, it's funny you asked that, Linda. What happened was I started writing, I would say about when I was like 21, 22, I was going through a really tough time. I had just lost my
Hmm.
job, my car had got repossessed because I didn't have any income coming in, and I was just, I was hopeless, and I really didn't have anyone to lean on besides
Hmm.
the Lord. And like I said, I just wrote how I felt, because writing has always been my scapegoat. And I just wrote
Hmm.
out my frustrations, and it started off as text messages actually. I used to call them Portia Seeds of Hope. And it just used to be a few
Hmm.
inspiring words that I would send out to all my
Okay.
friends and family. And then I would, share them on social media. But I told God that I wanted to do more. I wanted to help people, and bring forth my gift to a larger audience. And that's when the Lord spoke to
Hmm.
me and told me, write a book. And remind you, this was a time where I was hopeless. I was barely able to even feed myself. I mean, I was eating popcorn and
Hmm.
water and candy and water some days. And I was like in the dumps. And God said, write a book. And I was like, huh? You can't be talking to me because I can't even feed myself. And you want me to write a book? I can't write a book, So it started off as little text messages here and there, and then, 4 or 5 years later, it became a book. Your book from God.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um,
Despise not the day of small beginnings. That's for sure.
exactly.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I
Yes,
was going to
ma'am.
say,
Mhm.
there many an author has gotten started, believe it or not, just by tweeting out just certain things that were
Mhm.
inspirational and personal to them, and turned that
Yes.
into a book. So kudos for you with that. Listen,
Thank
we're
you,
going to take
ma'am.
a quick commercial. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the Portia's going to read an excerpt from her book. Again, the title of her book is called Your Book from God. We're going to talk a little bit about how she came up with the title and listen to her read an excerpt from the book after a word from today's sponsor. So don't touch that dial.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right. We are back with author DaPorscha Rufus. DaPorscha is going to read us an excerpt from her book, Your Book from God. Before we read the excerpt, DaPorscha, can you tell us how did you come up with the title of your book? That's a very unique title.
Yes, I actually went through a few titles. It was first called Silent Tears of a Weeping Soul, but I didn't want, it sounded kind of depressing, I didn't want people to feel depressed once they read the title, and then it became The Book of Hope, and that I had a good feeling about that title, but then I Googled it, and I was like, oh, there are like 10 other books of hope out there. I don't want to, try to duplicate what someone else has, and Your Book from God, I got that from, I wanted anyone to be able to relate to this book. I envisioned people being in a bookstore and just walking by and being like, oh, this is my book. This book is for me. I wanted it to be personal to any and everyone, to all of God's children, because we're all God's children. So that title, I wanted it to stand out, to anyone. So when they saw it, they could be like, "Oh, this is for me. This is my very own book." That's why I titled it "Your Book from God." I didn't want it to be, I didn't want to discriminate or anything. I just wanted anyone to be able to see it and feel it in any way. Absolutely.
Well, DaPorscha, one thing we do know as followers of Jesus is that He definitely has a word for everybody. So you just have to have ears to hear. Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and tell us what chapter and what page are you going to be reading from?
Well, actually, Your Book from God is a daily devotional. So it's actually 366 days of inspiration. And I did 366 because, I wanted to think outside the box, even though there are only 365 days. If you include leap year, there are 366. So I just wanted to do things a little different. So for each day, I'm just discussing different topics that we endure in life, like pain, hopelessness, fear. I really wanted to be able to relate to anyone because, we all have pain in some way. We all need hope in some way. We all need love. So for every day, I'm just discussing different topics. There are also prayers in there, and there are poems that I've written over the years as well. So I'll just be reading day 3. It's called Can You Handle It? And I start each day off with a quote or a Bible verse. So the quote for day 3, it says, "Human beings are lazy, and it very often happens that one wearies of a newborn emotion for no valid reason, unless there is some restraint to stimulate or stabilize it." Andre Morios. And I wrote, depending on your ability and desire to stabilize your feelings, your emotions play a very important role in your everyday life. More times than not, we allow our emotions to get the best of us. How you react to situations and people not only holds the capacity to make you whole and balanced, but they also have the ability to shred your life and relationships into 1,000,001 pieces. If you are not mindful of your responses, your life could become what one would call an emotional wreck. Are you a wreck? As a human being, you experience a plethora of thoughts that ultimately become determining factors in your speech, actions, and the way you carry yourself. We attempt to handle life through our own power, but the good book decrees, "But I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the desires of the flesh are against the Spirit, and the desires of the Spirit are against the flesh. For these are opposed to each other, to keep you from doing the things you want to do. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are evident: sexual immorality, impurity, sensuality, idolatry, sorcery, enmity. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. Now take an honest second to glance back over your life. How many times have you made an emotional decision based on how you felt momentarily that you later regretted after time had passed? So you might say, well, I just can't control myself, or my favorite, that's just who I am. Nonsense. You can't control yourself for the simple fact that you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. See Philippians 4:13. God has given you the power along with a sound and stable mindset to control and discipline yourself, hence self-control and self-discipline. Or in other words, you do not have to act nor react to the way you feel all the time. In all honesty, your feelings change from second to second and moment to moment. Therefore, without a healthy balance in your emotional life, life becomes a roller coaster you never get off of. Learning how to control your emotions is simple yet complex. Understand that whenever you are in a disagreement with the way you feel, the first step is to identify its root cause or origin. What are you thinking about to make you feel and react in a certain manner? How does this thing make you feel internally? Are your emotions propelling you forward or pushing you further away from the Father? If it is not beneficial to your well-being, don't allow these unhealthy feelings to overpower and consume you. Remember, you have the power. God has given you the ability and his power to control yourself. What will you do with the strength you've been afforded? And that was day 3, called Can You Handle It?
Wow, that's powerful. Seriously, that's
you.
really good. Absolutely. And I like the way that you have this set up. Like you said, it's a very easy read, especially if you're reading it. And for those that are listening, I'm actually on the Amazon site while I'm speaking to the author, checking out, and this is why I'm so glad a lot of authors are beginning to utilize this great tool that Amazon offers. It's called the Look Inside. So I can actually see her book on like a Kindle device, the reader that they have on here. And you did an amazing job. It's well formatted. The chapters were great. Not a problem. You did a wonderful job. And like you mentioned, there really are no pages. Now you have it available in the Kindle currently on Amazon for $9.99, and the paperback is $25.49. Are you also interested in creating it or converting it into a audiobook? Because you should really do that.
Absolutely. I'm not quite sure how to do that. However, my publishing company is the one that set all of this up, and it is available on Barnes and Noble. Yeah, Zulon Press. Yes, ma'am. I wanted to make sure it was a Christian publishing company that helped me out with this book. Absolutely.
Exactly. Check with them and see if they also have the capability to convert it into an audiobook for you. Because and you reading it you really did a great job reading that, right?
Thank you.
So what do you? Sure. What is it that you hope that people would take away, DaPorscha, from reading your book?
Oh, I just want people to realize that their life has purpose and their life has meaning. You know, when you don't understand your purpose for being, you despair, of life itself, and you just merely go through the motions. I want people to realize that God can use anyone. We all have a past. We've all been through hell and back, but in spite of it all, God has a plan for each and every one of us. You may not be the next Beyonce or whatever, but you are unique in your own way. You have greatness inside of you. There are gifts inside of you that God wants to unleash into all of the earth, but you have to dig deep within yourself, and find out what you're here for. You're not just here to work and pay bills and die. No, you have purpose. Your life has meaning, and God created you for a reason, for his reason, a divine reason, and you're not a mistake. I just want people to realize that they're unique in their own way, and there's greatness that is ready to be unleashed, and people need your gifts. I just thank God for helping me realize what I'm here for, in a sense. Of course, I don't know everything about my life and what God has in store, but if God could use someone like me who's done, I should be dead and in the grave, but if God can use me, he can use anyone. You know, my life is a testimony, and I know that God is real and that God has a plan for us all, in spite of what we've done, you know.
Exactly.
I just want people to,
and a lot exactly. And a lot of the times, DaPorscha, the things that we've gone through, because trust me, sweetie, we all have a past. But if we can use that past as a testimony to help somebody else, you know, exactly. So hopefully they won't make the same mistakes that we did, or hopefully offer a solution to help them get out of whatever crisis they might find themselves to be in, because they unfortunately didn't wait on the Lord, and we're all guilty of that. So
yes, ma'am.
So kudos. Absolutely. Kudos on a great book. Now, tell my listening audience, DaPorscha, how they can connect with you online.
Yeah, so you can shoot me a friend request on Facebook. My name is DaPorscha Superfly Rufus, and I'll spell that for you because I know it's, you know, kind of ethnic. So it's I'm just being honest, you know, DaPorscha. Superfly, all one word, and my last name is Rufus, Rufus. You can also follow me on Twitter at DaPorscha _Rufus, still spelt the same way. And I'm also on Instagram. You can follow me at I am, altogether, _DaPorscha, and I did spell that weirdly, so I'll spell that out. It's I am _DUH, like duh, and then Porscha, Porscha, and that's 5 A's. So it's like I am the Porscha. I'm sorry about that, guys. I know it's a little weird. Hope you had your pen and paper ready. But yeah. And my website is coming soon, www.drufus.com. I have a few where I'm just making some changes so that it's ready for, you know, listeners and readers out there worldwide. So give me about 2 weeks on that, and that'll be up, and drufus.com will be up and running as well. Absolutely.
Wonderful.
That's where you guys can find me at.
Wonderful. Now, your book came out in July of 2016. How are you promoting your book?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I have a lot of interviews set up via radio. I have some catalogs coming out, a Christmas catalog coming out that's going to be sent to about 10,000 churches, and also to the 700 Club, which is, you know, a TV station. I'm just praying I get an interview with them. That'll be a blessing. Okay. And I'm also trying to set up a few book signings. It's still up in the air at the moment. Trying to work with BarnesandNoble.com, Barnes and Noble, and local bookstores in Dallas. So that's still being worked on. But I have a lot of interviews set up, a couple catalogs coming out, and I'm just promoting any way I can, networking with people, you know, basically via airwaves, and trying to get it out there to the masses.
Sure. Also connect with, since you're in Dallas, Dallas has a huge African American church base with almost all denominations. Yes. Right.
Yeah,
so see if
that's funny you say
connect with some of the women's groups. That's a good way to get introduce yourself and your book to some more groups to outside of your immediate church base, so that you can continue to spread the word. Another thing, DaPorscha, is your local library. Have you had a chance to talk to your local library about having them put your book in their collection?
Yeah, I've emailed a few of the general managers. One guy replied to me, but it's kind of up in the air. People kind of tend to push away from religion, which is it's not understandable to me, but, you know, I get it based on the world we live in. So I have reached out to a few libraries. You know, I know not everyone's going to accept God, you know, so I've gotten a few rejections here and there, but I just keep on moving, Lynda. You know, I know it's going to come. You know, people are not going to want to deal with me and my book, but that's all right. The right people, I'll connect with the right people, such as yourself.
Exactly. And all you do is you just ask God to open up the doors where He wants you to have your book. Exactly.
Yes,
and another great way, DaPorscha, and I sent you the copies of the ebooks for authors. A great way to get into your local library is to take your whole book out of the equation and just come in there as offering your services to maybe doing a program on how to write a book, what it took to get published. It's so many different ways, and if you read that ebook that I sent you, it tells you exactly which staff member you need to approach about getting your book into the collection. Now, yours is what we would call a adult nonfiction. So, and you're right, we are, and even though it's mind-boggling to you, we're living in a time that I've always known was coming, and that is when the things of God would be frowned upon. You know how you've heard them say, now we're living in a time where good is bad and bad is evil, and bad is good or whatever. Yes, this is so what you might have to do in order to get your book out to the libraries. Also check with Christian bookstores, and you want to do the same thing. Yeah. Don't do it as a book signing. Actually try to do it as an event, maybe some type of a question and answering service about, do you have questions about God? Because one of the ways that I promoted your interview, DaPorscha, was, do you still hear from God? It's a lot of Christians that will tell you that they do not hear God talking to them. And I'm blessed to be able to say that I hear Him audibly, and just like I'm talking to you, and I also hear Him in my spirit, which is where you would hear the voice deep within you. So those are, I hate to say it, there's a workshop right there. How do you hear from God? And then just, and as people come out, you can do a press release in your local newspaper, set it up, I would say at a local bookstore, have it set up like in where there's a podium where you're speaking and reading from your book, and like an audience type, theater type setup, so that they can sit there and listen to you, ask questions, and that's a great way to get your name out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking notes, Lynda. I'm soaking up your wisdom over here. Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
yes,
good.
ma'am.
Absolutely.
I'm open to all, opportunities. I'm still a student, even though I wrote a book, promoting and marketing and getting it out there to the masses. That's the hard part. Writing the book was the easy part.
Absolutely.
Now that I see that, I'm like, oh, I got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for confirming the title of my show, which is exactly why I came up with this title, because I knew as a new author, people have to find out who you are before they really want to invest a lot in your books. I'm just going to keep it real, guys. Unless you come out the box with something hot and heavy like 50 Shades of Grey, you're going to have to introduce yourself to people. They're going to have to find out who you are. DaPorscha, another thing I'd like to commend you on is an awesome book cover. Your book cover is very colorful. I like that. Did you work with your publishing company to come up with that?
Yes, ma'am. I surely did. Actually, the idea came from me and a conversation that my boyfriend and I were having one time, and he was like saying when he holds onto God's hand, he feels secure, but when he lets go of God's hand, he feels, hopeless in a sense. And I wanted the cover to be, to show diversity, because we're all God's children, even though the world says that, we aren't. You know what's going on in the world nowadays. It's so segregated and divided. But inside, we're all the same. We may look differently because of our skin tone or our race or whatever, but on the inside, the blood of Jesus runs through us all. And I just wanted to show, like God's children reaching out to Him. I didn't want it to just show a certain skin tone or whatever. I wanted it to be black hands, white hands, children's hands, because we're all God's children, on the inside. And we're all just reaching, the book cover, a lot of people, everyone's like reaching up all the way. Some are surrendering, some have closed fists. And there's even a child's hand on here, because this book is,
Absolutely.
This book is for everyone, even children. My little sister, she's 10 and she reads it every day. So, and my boyfriend's daughter, she reads it as well sometimes, So, I just wanted to show diversity.
Exactly. Well, we know right now, for those of us that are followers, we just have to diligently continue to pray, and we need to get those spiritual warfare prayers out, because this enemy is just out here with all of these killings, the police killings, and the police getting killed. He's just trying to start a big race war. We're going to make sure that doesn't happen. We're going to bind that demonic spirit. Amen. And just continue to pray for peace down here, heaven down here on earth. So, DaPorscha, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us about your book and your brief life history. But I tell you, you're definitely headed in the right direction, sweetheart. Are you still there? Hello?
Hello, I'm here. Sorry.
Oh,
yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm sorry. I had a frog in my throat. I had to drink some water real quick.
I understand. I have to keep my water.
I put it on mute.
Okay, great.
But yes.
Well, I was just telling you how much we appreciated you coming on the show and sharing your awesome book and your talent. And we see great things ahead of you, DaPorscha, if you just stay on target.
Yes, thank you so much, Ms. Lynda. Again, this is an honor, an opportunity, a blessing, and thank you for your wisdom and just for taking the time out to, believe in me and just, help me in any way you can. It's a blessing, and I know that this book will go far. Only what you do for the Lord will last. Yes,
absolutely.
Only what you do for the Lord will last.
Absolutely. Just give him all the praise and the glory, and it'll go far.
Yes, ma'am. Got to keep them first, always.
That's right, sweetie. Okay, well, sweetheart, you get out there and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Okay, Ms. Lynda, you be blessed, okay?
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, that was author DaPorscha Rufus. Again, the title of her book is Your Book from God. It's a daily devotional to help you get closer to God and maybe start hearing his voice. And again, the Kindle version is currently $9.99 and the paperback is currently $25.49. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll catch you guys right back here next week. Can't believe it's October 1st. Can you believe that we're already in October? All right, guys, but we'll catch you back here next time on the Arthur Chet Show. Bye-bye.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be confusing. Like Swedish techno confusing.
Bark, bark, meow, meow. Dance with me, purple cow. Bark, bark, meow, meow. Ooh, you lovely cow.
Geico makes it easy. With 24/7 access, all you have to do is go to Geico.com and you could save money on car insurance. It just makes sense. Unlike,
Dance with me, purple cow. I like your move.